2007 we were heavily impacted by Hurricane Dean, which hit 5 countries, starting off with St. Lucia and Dominica, and then building up to a Category 5 as it went towards Jamaica, Belize, also affecting Haiti on its way. So all those 5 national societies were affected, and part of our support was to kind of coordinate the international response to the support to those countries. Lessons learned was that it's very difficult when you have a multi-country hit, and that's a learning point for us as being better prepared in this region for our systems to be able to adapt to when we have the hurricanes, that it is going to be multi-country, and try and provide an as effective and efficient support as possible to each of the islands or countries which have very different needs in terms of not only how they're impacted by the hurricanes but their own response internally, how they were prepared to respond, and then obviously the level of donor funding we get in to be able to address the needs that they have.
For the majority of the year, the first part of the year was pretty quiet. We didn't have the normal rainy season which was normally started in May. We didn't quite have a lot of that. But August, by the middle of August, we were hit by Hurricane Dean.
Last year with Hurricane Dean, we were able to garner the volunteer resources to respond to the event. We were very quick off on doing our damage and needs assessment post-disaster, and we got a quick response from Petra. We did have a small stock of supplies which enabled us to respond pretty quickly. However, it had to be supplemented by supplies coming in from Petra.
My expectation is to do the best that I can as a Red Cross Society, to again work very closely with National Emergency Management Agency. I'm happy that I was able to attend this meeting this week to learn more about Red Cross and how Red Cross works in a disaster, so that it could assist me in better preparing my national society to work in a disaster.
We're accustomed to floods in Belize. It's every year, every day, because of the rain, a lot of rain we get. Just that this is just 3 days, 4 days into the rainy season. We expect the ground to soak up the water for a month or 2 before we start to get any of the big floods. It caught us totally by surprise. It came suddenly, and the area where most of the damage was done in the south of Belize City, but still a little bit in the central part of the country, it has never flooded that much before.
The biggest thing for me right now is making sure that my volunteers are trained, that we have the volunteers in place to actually be able to respond.
We do have all our volunteers still, and we are prepared.
We have been preparing since the beginning of the year for that, and we have sacrificed ourselves doing capacitations in many parts of the country.
The major issue with climate change is getting across, and I've been involved in climate change for the last 4 to 5 years. I've been advocating on the need to understand and appreciate, especially as it relates to the humanitarian consequences of climate change.
From the very start, they agreed that, hey, climate change is happening. Most of these people are farmers, fishermen, they're forest folk, and they are very in tune with the weather, and they have seen the changing patterns.
I have been noticing that we are seeing higher category storms making landfall than ever before.
Climate change is something that many people think that is something that is going to arrive in the future. No, it's happening now.
The increase in temperatures, the more frequent and more intense hurricanes we've been experiencing, the earlier onset of hurricanes, the rise in sea levels.
We really have not had a winter in the Bahamas in a few years. It's been hot constantly, and the storms have been coming, like one year when we had Francis and Jean, one right after the other, and then Wilma hit us. And so when you really sit down and you really listen, then you know that it has to be a phenomenon out there that is causing it. And why not climate change?
I think that in general, in our society and culture, we tend to not feel that we're threatened by things unless they're immediate and tangible in front of us.
We're aware that it's changing, and the message of how to be better prepared for those changes. Be ready and be prepared, because it is changing. We don't know how, and we don't know how we can't predict that anymore, but then the Red Cross has an even more important role to be better prepared to be able to respond as and when disasters happen as a result of climate change.